be golden street, but it sure ain't no to me.
Well, we've discovered something interesting. Right now, the air temperature outside is about the same temperature as the water temperature. And so at night, the air gets a little bit cooler and our breath condensates on the ceiling, which it didn't happen in Norway at all because we insulated the hull to help keep condensation off the hull, but the water was so much colder that all of the vapor in the air would condensate on the hull below the waterline. We didn't insulate below the waterline so that our breath would condensate on the hull and drip down into the bilge. But now that we're further south and the water temperature is about 10 degrees Celsius and the air temperature is about 10 degrees Celsius, at night when it drops down to 7, this becomes colder than the hull. So we woke up this morning to all of our breath just dripping from the ceiling.
That sounds nasty.
Yeah, well, the sun comes out and it warms up the boat a bit, and by the afternoon it's dry out a little bit. But we're just, now, since there is so much condensation on the ceiling, we're taking this opportunity to wipe it off to kind of bring the relative humidity down. Look, condensate, condensate. It's kind of interesting that we have more condensation problems further south because the air temperature is matching the water temperature. The water temperature is warmer, so our little natural dehumidifier, our passive dehumidifier that we made by insulating our hull, doesn't work anymore. Oh, we needed to clean our ceiling anyway, so.
So for now, I'd like
We've decided to leave the anchorage this morning because yesterday was an adventure with the dinghy, and we've decided to not do this again.
It's 10 to 15 degrees every day and sunny all week, so it's a perfect time to be out here playing, but that anchorage unfortunately was just too rolly and the beach landing was too spicy to do every day, so it doesn't really make it enjoyable to stay there. We've been there for 3 nights now and we haven't had a good night's sleep at all. The boat goes sideways to the swell and like there's not enough wind to put a swell bridle out. Yeah, we're gonna go back around the corner to a little town and anchor or tie up there, and it should be much nicer. Even though it's a bit longer of a hike and the scenery isn't quite as epic from the boat, it'll be a lot more enjoyable to use that as our home base for the next couple of days.
flower grew, did its thing without any guarantee. But don't forget that honey
Hello everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Sailing Uma, brought to you by Kika and Dan, today at Repzilla.com. Hello everyone. Today we're going to try this again, only this time we don't have to worry about tide, we don't have to worry about swells, and we don't have to worry about surfing up a wave with the dinghy and getting completely wet and we're never wanting to do this again. So we are anchored, no we're not. We are at the dock here in a little coastal town called Kamare. We're going to go rock climbing again. It's a bit of a walk from here, but the cool thing is this whole peninsula is filled with World War II bunkers and old buildings, so it's going to be a beautiful walk. We're going to check things out. It's a lovely day. It's actually pretty hot. And back to you, Dan, with sports.
Yes, Kika, as you can see, I'm standing here today at the top of this very long cliff, about to perform a task known to the locals as abseiling, not to be confused by the act of sailing with your abs. Rest assured, the locals have informed me that I am absolutely safe. I have backups to my backup. So with that, I will see you at the bottom.
After all my questions, one thing should read. Tearing down you and me puts my mind at ease.
This anchor weighs 11 tons, and it's heavier than our entire sailboat. Because I think Uma weighs like 9. Yeah, 9 tons, and it says it takes 40 people to move it. Maneuver 40 men.
For a boat that's 400 tons.
Walk around. Yeah, I see toilet paper in there. Definitely the outhouse.
Ew.
Like.
Ew. What happened to cat holes, man?
This is the imaginary cannon that faced out. Wow, it's a pretty great spot for a cannon.
If I was a cannon, I'd want to be here.
I'll be here. Yeah.
It's got a nice view.
All right, so the battery, is it still in English? The
Yeah,
battery.
battery.
The battery of Carbon.
It was a lithium battery.
I think it's this whole
Yeah.
section. It was built in 1890 on a virgin site.
I knew that this was an old fort that wasn't just World War II
1890.
because it's all stone.
Yeah. And in the year 1920, a new battery of cannon was built, and they kept it utilized in 1940.
Signs in English, by the way.
No, it's not. There's some letters missing, so it's kind of like I'm adding fillers. The German troops rearmed the battery and recovered the cannons. That was a terrible explanation.
Translating from sun-faded French. If I understood that correctly, this was a French fort that they built in 1890. 1890. So this is a French fort they built out of stone in 1890 to protect the Bay of Brest. There's another one on the other side, and there's a big castle in Brest. And in World War I, it was rearmed. And in World War II, it was rearmed again, and the big concrete bunkers were added so that the German-built concrete bunkers to protect the bay, because this was German-held. I think I understood that correctly. He's so cute.
So hot.
Thank you for the new battery.
You're welcome.
You want to go down in here now?
I don't even know why I brought my sweater. Let's go in the bunker.
Watch that last step. It's a doozy.
Oh, you mean there's no step? Whoa. That is really cool. Right?
Sure. They didn't have big cannons in these ones. The big cannon ones are those ones. The big artillery ones.
What do you think?
These are like pillbox lookout ones. This is crazy. I would not. I don't even want to think about it. Trying to like land a ship here with all this around, and then climb up these cliffs, and then deal with all the sharp, spiky bushes. Way out's easier.
After all my questions, one conclusion.
One of the things I do think is very interesting here is how there's sort of this old, French fort made out of stone from 1890, I think you said. And then there's sort of two other eras of forts sort of built on top of it and bunkers and stuff. It's kind of neat. There's like concrete and it's built on top of stone French fort. It's quite the labyrinth going on here.
After all my questions, one conclusion reached.
That is a riptide.
And you can actually see where we would spit you out, because there's like an area that eddies.
Yeah,
It kind of circles around.
that's cool. I don't think I've ever seen a riptide so
No.
clearly defined.
Not from an upper view.
Go over at the other side. That's a look of fear.
I'm a little nervous. The wall looks pretty cool, but to get there, that's the part that I'm nervous about. But it looks like there's a path, right? I mean,
Air quotes.
path.
Yeah.
But it's really cool because we get a good view of Mimio, which is the monolith we are going to be climbing before we leave here. But before we do this, because this involves a multi-pitch rappel and then the climb on the monolith. So we're gonna practice. The other day we practiced rappelling, and now we're gonna just do a bit of sport climbing. Just look at the view. Where do we? Is it
That green grassy
the
section.
grassy section? Is where we go.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that this isn't actually the way in. The way in is sort of on the backside of this rock, and then we cut through this little tunnel.
Oh, that's the entrance.
Yeah, man.
Oh my gosh, it just goes to nothing. Where do we keep our bags?
Keep it on.
Oh, the bag doesn't.
This is a pretty grand entrance to a climbing spot, not gonna lie.
Are you going forward? That's pretty crazy.
That's cool, right?
That's cool.
And we have to go like
A little bit to the right.
that way.
Oh, it's fine. It's not as sketchy as I
It's
thought.
not that crazy. It's just the view down is kind of crazy.
Yeah, the view down is sketchier than anything.
I think we're here.
Searching for a brighter day.
Pretty cool
So
though.
that's the spot.
Yeah, there's your
Is that
bolt.
the
There's your
spot?
bolt here. Bolt.
Oh, jeez.
There's another bolt somewhere, I'm sure.
We're standing here.
So I think that is the trad route, and that's going to be your like belay anchor.
Mm-hmm.
The other one starts like out here.
Okay. I'm in this shorts.
That's exciting. I'm getting a harness on. Sit, stay, little phone. Stay. I've got like webbing
This will be the worst place to
I'll
lose
catch
the
it.
phone.
But we're kind of tethered in and anchored in up here because it's a long way down to the ocean. But
Yeah.
there's a cool little sport climb here that we're gonna mess around with on today and try to like figure out how to film climbing. That's kind of the goal of today.
So it's a short, I think it's like 10 meters. The climbing itself is usually awesome, right? You have the wall, you're excited to climb it, but the getting there is a
What's the
sketchy bit. The getting there is what makes me nervous because the getting there, you're not clipped in, you're not, it's just, you have to get to that cliff in order to start climbing.
The
It's
approach
ridiculous.
is what we're working for. And this one particularly, it's not sketchy enough that it's a bolted traverse. Like there are ones here that you kind of bolt and sort of belay a traverse along. It's not quite that sketchy, but when you have like a backpacking gear, it's a long way down to the ocean.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool. Well, I bet you could see the phone in my sunglasses. Look, it's just sort of like leaning on the cliff.
Sky is blue when I'm with you. Finally I feel alive. Finally I feel alive.
We are ready to rock and roll. We have our rope ready. I'm about to clip all the quick draws on me. Get my little
Manny, where's Manny?
Manny. It's somewhere. Are you ready? This is my friend.
He's your climbing buddy.
This is my climbing buddy. Keeping me company along the way. Off we go.
All right, off you go. All right, tether. Okay, I'm gonna give you slack and I'm gonna land the drone. Yeah? Okay. You ready? All right, coming down, slow and smooth. Nice, good job.
So, in case you guys didn't notice before, we are not a sailing channel anymore.
We never have been a sailing
We've
channel.
never been a sailing channel. Okay, correction. We've never been just a sailing channel. We've always wanted to do more adventures, and rock climbing now is one of the things that we're gonna start doing more of. So it was fun. It was an easy climb, but the fact that it was a sketchy place made it a hard climb.
Like, guys, this is my belay station.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically a multi-pitch climb. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Nishkika.
This is just an easy bit of the multi-pitch climb.
Yeah. This is more for the practice of getting over the anxiety of climbing
the height.
100 feet off of the ocean.
And figuring out how to fly the drone and use the cameras with just the two of us. It's kind of hard, yeah.
Which
Safely,
is
obviously.
Yeah,
So,
nice. Okay.
But anyway, that was good for today.
Sun's kind of going down.
Sun's going down, so we get back on the boat, eat dinner.
And then tomorrow
We do this guy.
we're coming back to climb, where is it? This one. This one, here. I'm excited for that one.
You'll have to come back next week because that is the end of this episode. This
Oh,
is
you're
a
gonna leave him
beautiful
here?
place to end it.
This is literally a cliffhanger. I'm excited
Will we
for that
make it? Will we make it back out?
Dun, dun, dun. Will we
And
done?
cut!